Hi everyone. In this video we'll try to learn foreign key concepts, right? In the previous video we have seen primary key concept. Now I'll try to give you an example for a foreign key concept. What is the definition of a foreign key? Definition of foreign key says that primary key of one table can be the foreign key of another table. Primary key of one table can be the foreign key of another table. That means we have created a table called department table, DEPT table, and we have a column called department number. Now department number column is a primary key over here, right? Same column, department number, will be the foreign key for EMP table. That's how the concept is. So how you create a foreign key, what is the syntax? Now for the employee table, definitely it will be having a primary key also, that is your employee number. In this case, employee number is the primary key for EMP table and a department number is the foreign key for this particular table. So let me talk about the syntaxes. This is the syntax to create a primary key and this is the syntax to create a foreign key. You have to use a keyword called constraint, give the name of the constraint, right? And after that you have to use a keyword called foreign key. Now the name of the constraint can be anything. It's completely up to you what name you want to give. Now after that you have to use a keyword called foreign key, right? And after that you have a department number column that I want to make department number as a foreign key. References, I have to keyword or I have to use a keyword called references DEPT, that is your department table, and I am referring to this particular column. That means this foreign key column is referring to this table, and especially in this table it is referring to this column called department number, right? So this is how you create a foreign key. This is the syntax basically. Now what is the need, right? What is the need to create foreign key? Zarurat kya hai, right? So the basic need to create a foreign key is to create a relationship between this table and between this table, so that if you want to retrieve data or if you want to retrieve columns from both the tables, you can make a join and then you can retrieve the data or retrieve the column from both the table, right? So pehla purpose ho gaya join. To join the table, definitely we need a relationship. We have to make a relationship or we have to establish a relationship between two tables, then only you will be able to make a join. Join is a very vast concept. I will teach you join specifically in my playlist, right? Join is designed and join is created very nicely step by step so that you can understand it very easily. And from the interview perspective, join is the most important concept. If you know the join, that means half of the SQL you know. So I have created the join video. You can watch it step by step once you reach the join segment. So to make a join between these two tables, you need a relationship, a common column. So that's the reason you create a foreign key. That is one reason. Now what is the second reason to create a foreign key? What is the second reason or what is the other reason? The second reason to create a foreign key is we want to reduce data redundancy, right? We want to reduce data redundancy. It's an interview term, by the way. You have to remember this term when you are giving an interview. To reduce the data redundancy, we create the foreign key concept, right? Now what is data redundancy in technical term? So to explain you this, I have to first of all get the data from the department table. Right? And how many number of records we have? We have total 4 records. Let me copy these records. And let me open an Excel sheet, because there I'll be able to make you this concept understand even in a better way. So these are the 4 records that I have. What is the column name? DEPT number. We have department name and we have location, right? We have location information. This is your DEPT table, right? Try to understand this data redundancy concept. It will help you to connect the dots. It will help you to understand normalization also, right? Now we have one more table called EMP table, right? We do have this table created. I'll just try to give you an example. Select the code, press Control Enter. It says name already there, name already exists. That means I do have this table. Let me do a select query, select star from EMP. So select this code and run this code. Total how many number of records you have? You have total 14 number of records, right? Let me sort this data. If you double click on this column, your data will be sorted. You can also sort the data like this way. Select the entire data and copy this data and paste it in your Excel sheet, right? This is the data that I have in the employee table. What is the column name? EMP number. E name, that is your employee ka name. You have designation. What is the column name over here? It is called job. So I can say this is job column. This is your manager ka ID. This is your hiring date. This is your hiring date. And this is your salary column. One of the most important column for which we all are working. This is the commission column and this is the department number column, right? What I did is I have just copy pasted the entire data set from your Oracle SQL to Excel, right? This is your department table. This is your employee table. This is their respective columns. Now you know that department number, let me just correct it. It is DEPT number, right? So department number, this column is a primary key column, right? And here in the employee table you have this department number column. In the employee table, this department number column is working as a foreign key column, right? Now I was trying to make you understand that what is the data redundancy that you want to remove, right? Being a new person to the database, you may be asking a question that why two tables? Why two different tables? Can't we keep only one table and keep all the data into that single table? Is it possible? Let's try to do this. We have a department number column over here. We have a department name column which I can copy into the employee table. We have a location column and let me copy this into the employee table, right? Now, what is department number 10? Department number 10 is accounting. And what is the location? The location is New York. So let me copy paste the data. What is 20? Research and Dallas. So let me just have this column. And what is 30? We have sales and the location is Chicago, right? So let me copy the data over here. Sales and Chicago, right? This is how it is. Now there is a problem with this syntax, or there is a problem with this structure. What is the problem? You have a data redundancy. You have a data redundancy, right? What is the meaning of data redundancy? You are keep on entering repetitive value again and again. You are keep on entering same value again and again. So this is a very small table example where we have only 14 number of records. Now you assume that we have 1 million records. 1 million as in 10 lakhs. We have 1 million records and we are keep on entering same data, repetitive data again and again. That's a waste of time, waste of space, waste of efforts, right? So the database designer, they have come up with a solution that let's not keep everything in one single table. Let's not keep everything in one single table, right? Let's split the table into two parts. Let's split the table into two parts, right? So what we have done is we have seen a potential that these three columns can become a separate table where we can, try to reduce the data redundancy. So let's remove these two columns, right? Let's remove these two columns and create one separate table called department table. And let's have these three columns over here. Now you do not have to keep on repeating same value again and again and again, right? Department number 10, one time, it's a primary key, and accounting and New York, right? Department number 20, one time, research coming one time, and the respective location is Dallas. Same for this, right? But when you split the table into two parts, at least you need a common column. You need a common column so that in future, if you want to retrieve this column as well and these column as well, you can make a join. So you need a common factor. Now, what is the common factor between these two tables? The common factor is department number, right? This is the common factor. Now you can see that, sir, this department number 10 and 20 and 30 is also coming repetitively. Isn't it a data redundancy? It is, but the book says that you cannot remove the data redundancy completely. You can reduce it. Data redundancy can be reduced. It cannot be removed or it cannot be eliminated completely, right? Because if you remove this column, then there is no relationship between these two tables, right? So that's the crux of a foreign key. Let me again come back to the main point, right? So what was the first reason to create a foreign key? To make a relationship between these two tables, right? That is the first reason, make a relationship. And the second reason is to reduce the data redundancy. How do you reduce the data redundancy? To split the table into two parts. Now, when you are splitting the table into two parts, that is known as normalization. That is normalization. What is normalization? Normalization means you are normalizing your database. To reduce the data redundancy, you're splitting the table into multiple tables. That is normalization. Split the table into multiple tables. Split the table into multiple tables is normalization in database. Right? Why we are splitting the table? Because to reduce the data redundancy. We don't want the same value again and again and again in the same table. Right? Now in normalization also, we have three normal forms. First normal form, second normal form, and third normal form. Right? Now I don't want to get into the deeper what is first normal form, second normal form, and third normal form, but just to give you an idea that to split the table into multiple table, to reduce the data redundancy, it's a normalization. Now there are different techniques of doing normalization. You may be having 10, 20, 30 columns, right? How do you know which column to be splitted, which column to be separated, right? So this normalization technique will help you to understand how you can split the table so that you can reduce the data redundancy very effectively. Right? Now this database design is an effective design, is a good design because it has a very reduced data redundancy, right? And that's the crux of a primary key and foreign key. Now when you split the table, make a common column that will act as a foreign key. All right. I hope you understood the concept, primary key and foreign key concept, right? And I hope you also understood the basic idea behind normalization, right? In the next video, I'll talk about referential integrity. Referential integrity. That is also one of the most important topic from interview perspective. If you are trying to give an interview to crack a good package in the company, then definitely you should be knowing about these basic terminologies. Okay. Referential integrity we'll learn in the next video. Till then, happy learning.